Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chapter 24. Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinimevam Manorduhitaram Munihi Dayalushalini Maha Shuklabhivyahrutam Swaran. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Rishiruvacha Makidho Rajaputri tam Atmanam Pratyanindite Bhagavamsteksharo Garbham Adurat Samprapatshyate. The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Dhrutavratasi bhadram te damena niyamena cha tapo dravinadanaischa shraddhaya cheshwaram bhaja." You had undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Sattvayaradhita shuklo vitanvanmamakam syashaha chetta te hrudaya granthi maudharyo brahma bhavanaha. The personality of Godhead, being worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. Maitreya Uvacha Devahutyapi Samdesham Gauravena Prajapatehe Samyak Shraddhaya Purusham Kutastamabhajad Gurum. Sri Maitreya said, Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the master of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. Tasyam bahutite kale Bhagavan Madhusudanaha Kardamam Viryamapanno Jagnigniriva Dharuni. After many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from the wood in a sacrifice. Avadayam stada vyomni vaditrani ghana ghanaha gayanti tam smaghar gandharva nrutyantyapsaraso mudha. At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord. Petus sumanaso divyaha ke charairapavarjitaha प्रसेदुश्च दिशः सर्वा अम्भासि च मनांसि च. At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. तत्कर्दमाश्रमप तत्कर्दमाश्रमपदं सरस्वत्या परिश्रितं स्वयंभूसाकमृषिभिर्मरीच्यादिमिरभ्ययात्. Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along with Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati. Bhagavantam param Brahma sattvenamshena shatruhan tachvasamkyana vignaptair jatam vidvanajaswarat. Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a person of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his quality of pure existence, has appeared in the womb of Devahuti just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga. Sabhajayan Vishuddhena Chetasa Tachikiršitam Prahrushyamanairasubhihi Kardamam Chedamabhyadat. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti. Brahmovacha Tvaya me pachitastata kalpita nirvyalikataha yanme sanjagruhe vakyam bhavan manadamanayan. Lord Brahma said, My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. Yetavatyeva susrusha karya pitari putrakaihi bhadamityanumanyeta Gauravena gurorvachaha. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir. Ima duhitaras satyaha tava vatsa sumadhyamaha sargametam prabhavaisvair bruharishyantyανekada. Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, All you thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways. Utastvam sukyebhyo yathashilam yataruchi atmaja paridehyadya vistrunihi yasho bhuvi. Therefore, today, please take away your daughters to the foremost of the sages, with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe. Vedahamadhyam purusham avatirnam swamayaya bhutanam shevadim deham bibranam kapilam mune. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmana Mruddaranjataha Hiranyakeshaf Padmakshah Padmamudrapadambujah. By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of the lotus flowers, will uproot the deep rooted desire for work in this material world. येषामानविते गर्भं प्रविष्टः कौटभार्दनः अविद्यासंशयग्रन्थिं चित्वागां vicharishyati. Lord Brahma then told Devahuti, my dear daughter of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who killed the demon Kaitaba, is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Ayam Siddhaganadhishaha Sankhyacharyais Susammataha Loke Kapila Ityakhyam Gantate Kirtivardhanaha. Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge and among the people. He will be celebrated by the name Kapila as the son of Devahuti. He will increase your fame. Maitreya uvacha tavashvasya jagatsrashta kumarai sahanaradaha hamso hamsena yanena tridhama paramam yayau. Sri Maitreya said, after thus speaking to Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, who is also known as Hamsa, went back to the highest of the three planetary systems on his swan carrier with 4 Kumaras and Narada. Gate shatadhrutau kshaktah kardamastena choditah yatoditam swaduhitruhu pradadvishwasrujam tatah. O Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardama Muni, having been ordered by Brahma, handed over his 9 daughters as instructed to the 9 great sages who created the population of the world. Marichate kalam padad anasuya matatraye shraddha magnirase yachat Havirbhuvam Pulahaya Gatim Yuktam Kratave Chakriyam Satim Kyatim Cha Bhrugave Yachad Vasishtayapyarundatim. Kardama Muni handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi and another daughter Anasuya to Atri. He delivered Shraddha to Angira and Havirbhu to Pulastya. He delivered Gati to Pulaha, the chaste Kriya to Kratu, Kayati to Bhrugu and Arundati to Vashishta. Atarvane dadachantim yaya yajno vitanyate viprarshabhan krutodvahan sadaran samalalayat. He delivered Shanti to Atharva because of Shanti, sacrificial ceremonies are well performed. Thus, he got the foremost Brahmanas married and he maintained them along with their wives. Tatasta Rushayah Kshattaha Krutadara Nimantriyatam Pratishthan Nindimapannaha Swamashramam Mandalam. Thus married, the sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each for his own hermitage. O Vidura. Sachavatirnam Triyugam Ajnaya Vibudharshabham Vivikta Upasangamya Pranamya Samabhashata. When Kardama Muni understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chief of all the demigods, Vishnu, had descended, Kardama approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows. Aho papachyamananam niraye svairamangalaihi kalena bhuyasa nunam prasidantiha devataha. Kardama Muni said, Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds. Not sure if I read this. Sachavatirnam Triyugam Ajnaya Vibudharshabham Vivikta Upasangamya Pranamya Samabhashata. When Kardama Muni understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chief of all demigods, Vishnu had descended, Kardama approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows. Aho papachyamananam niraye svairamangalaihi kalena bhuyasa nunam prasidantiha devataha. Kardama Muni said, Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds. Bahujanma vipakvena samyagyoga samadhina drashtum yatante yatayaha shunyagareshu yatpadam. After many births, mature yogis, by complete trance in yoga, endeavor in secluded places to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sayeva Bhagavanadya Helayam Helanam Naganayanaha Gruheshu Jato Gramyanam Yaswanam Pakshaposhanaha. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support his devotees. स्वीयं वाक्यमृतं कर्तुम् अवतीर्णोऽसि मे गृहे चिकीर्षुर्भगवान् ज्ञानं भक्तानां मानवर्धनः. Kardama Muni said, "You, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge. तान्येव तेभिरूपाणि रूपाणि भगवंस्तव यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजनानामरूपिणः." My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms that they truly are true transcendental forms which are pleasing to your devotees. Tvam tvam suribhistatva bubhutsayadha sadabhivadarhana padapitam aishwarya vairagya yasho vabodha viryakshiya purtamaham prapadye. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to transcend the absolute truth. You are full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam kalam kavim trivrutam lokapalam atmanubhutyانugata prapancham swachanda shaktim kapilam prapadye. I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of the matter and element of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestations after their dissolution. Extremely grateful to read about Kapila's birth, Udbhavam, on Vaikuntha Ekadasi 2025. आस्माभिपृच्छेद्यपतिं प्रजानां त्वयावतीर्णर्न उताप्तकामः परिव्रजत्पदवीमास्तितोऽहं चरित्ये त्वां हृदि युञ्जन् विशोकः. Today I have something to ask from you, who are the Lord of all living entities. Since I have now been liberated by you from my debts to my father, and since all my desires are fulfilled, I wish to accept the order of an itinerant mendicant. Renouncing this family life, I wish to wander about, free from lamentation, thinking always of you in my heart. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya proktam hi lokasya pramanam satyalaukike athajati maya tubhyam tadavochamrutam mune. The personality of Godhead, Kapila, said, "Whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth. Ye tanme janmalokesmin mumukshunam durashayat prasamkyanaya tattvanam sammatayatmadarshane." My appearance in this world is especially to explain the philosophy of Sankhya, which is highly esteemed for self realization by those desiring freedom from the entanglement of unnecessary material desires. येष आत्मपतो व्यक्तो नष्टः कालेन भूयसा तं प्रवर्तयितुं देहम् imam viddhi maya bhrutam. This path of self realization, which is difficult to understand, has now been lost in the course of time. Please know that I have assumed this body of Kapila to introduce and explain this philosophy to human society again. Gaccha kama maya prushto मयि सन्न्यस्तकर्मणा जित्वा सुदुर्जयं मृत्युम् अमृतत्वाय मां भज. Now being sanctioned by me, go as you desire, surrendering all your activities to me, conquering insurmountable death, worship me for eternal life. मामात्मानं स्वयं ज्योतिः सर्वभूत गुहाशयम् आत्मन्येवात्मना वीक्ष्य विशोको भयमृच्छसि. In your own heart, through your intellect, you will always see me, the supreme self-effulgent soul dwelling within the hearts of all living entities. Thus you will achieve the state of eternal life, free from all lamentation and fear. Matra adhyatmikim vidyam shamanim sarvakarmanam vitarishye yaya chasau bhayam chatitarishyati. I shall also describe this sublime knowledge, which is the door to spiritual life, to my mother, so that she also can attain perfection and self-realization, ending all reactions to fruitive activities. Thus, she will be freed from all material fear. Maitreya uvacha evam samuddhitastena kapilena prajapatihi Dakshinīkrutyatam prito vanameva jagamaha. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fulfillment by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him with a good pacified mind, and with a good pacified mind he at once left for the forest. Vratam sa astito maunam atmaikasharano munihi nissango vyacharakshonim nissango vyacharakshonim anagriraraniketanaha Anagniraniketanaha. The sage Kardama accepted silence as a vow in order to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and take shelter of Him exclusively. Without association, he travelled over the surface of the globe as a sannyasi, devoid of any relationship with fire or shelter. Mano brahmani yujjano ye tat sadasatah param gunavabhase viguna ekabhaktyānubhavite. He fixed his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman, who is beyond cause and effect, who manifests the three modes of material nature, who is beyond those three modes, and who is perceived only through unfailing devotional service. Niraham Krutir Niraham Krutir Nirmamascha Nirdvandva Samadhruk Swadhruk Pratyak Prashanta Dhir Dhiraha Prashantor Mirivodhadihi. Thus he gradually became unaffected by the false ego of material identity and became free from material affliction. Undisturbed, equal to everyone, and without duality, he could indeed see himself also. His mind was turned inward and was perfectly calm, like an ocean unagitated by the waves. वासुदेव भगवती सर्वज्ञे प्रत्यगात्मनि परेण भक्तिभावेन लब्धात्मा मुक्तबन्धनः. He thus became liberated from conditioned life and became self-situated in transcendental devotional service to the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, the omniscient super soul within everyone. आत्मानं सर्वभूतेषु भगवन्तमवस्थितम् उपश्यत् सर्वभूतानि भगवत्यपि चात्मनि. He began to see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is seated in everyone's heart and that everyone is existing on him because he is the super soul of everyone. इच्छाद्वेषविहीनेन सर्वत्र समचेतसा भगवद्भक्तियुक्तेन प्राप्ता भागवती गतिः. Freed from all hatred and desire, Kardama Muni, being equal to everyone because of discharging uncontaminated devotional service, ultimately attained to the path of Godhead. Thus ends the chapter entitled The Renunciation of Kardama Muni. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.